What is up, RuneScape.com? It is your boy Ojama Garrett, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to find your own flips. It's one thing to look up a video and have a daily flip of the day, stuff like that, or to watch some of my videos and then I tell you what items to go out and try and what to buy them for. But it's a whole nother game for you to know how to seek out your own items and what to look for in an item to make sure you want that, you know what I mean? So that's what this video is going to try to tackle as concisely as possible. So the first thing you're going to want is a good tool. So any good tool for flipping, from my knowledge, you're going to have to pay for. So that's kind of it. You got the O7.gg here is a really great tool. It's actively being developed. It's got a active development team that responds to features and stuff like that. So it is being developed. So this is a very good tool. GE Tracker costs money. Flipping Utilities Premium costs money. All of these premium tools for that good data, you just got to pay money because that's just the world we live in. Okay. So with that being said, I want to explain to you why we need a paid tool, and I will show you what the best free tool is out there called prices.wiki OSRS. That's just the wiki, all the data is here. It's a free tool. This is pretty good. If we go to the main page here, we can see all of these high volume items. We can see all of these most expensive items. And it's got all the items here, the buy and the sell, and it's all accurate information. The main issue here, though, it makes it a little bit more inconvenient to find items to flip, is that this margin here is very misleading. Margin is at 176 here, but it is not accounting our 2% tax for that. So if I just for the sake of my due diligence here, we're just going to figure out what the margin is, and it is 71 GP. So the margin here is actually only 100. So you're almost getting half of the margin that it's showing you. So it kind of distorts your view of looking for items that you may or may not want to go for, because 176 might be a really good margin, but 100 might not be what you're looking for. Maybe outside of your ROI or return on investment. So it's just the weakness of free tools. Okay, and the pro tools, if we go here, we get Exchange Pro. We purchase it. It's unlimited access for the beta, but also 6 months free after it does come out of development, which will be many months from now, I believe. So with that, when we look at the margin here, we will have with the tax included. So as you can see, 22 take away 7 is 15, and it is showing us 11 with the margin. So that is helping our, it's correcting our ROI, and it just gives us a lot better data to look for. So now we have our paid tool. I want to talk to you about O7.gg's filter system here. So if you come over here to filter, you can select these buy prices, sell prices. You can select one, you can set a minimum and a maximum, what you want to go for. If you're kind of broke and you want to go for cheap items, you can go for expensive items, 100,000 minimum, etc., etc. And there's a bunch of different things that we can filter here. So there's sell price, margin with tax, ROI, limit, volume for the 24 hours, volume for 7 days, trends, trending going up, or if you want to buy what's going down or whatever. There's a bunch of just different things for you to filter. So my filter system here that I've been looking at are these 3 things, and then we'll filter by volume here. So I just want to explain my flipping strategy that I do personally and why I think you should too, especially if you're a beginner. And I am very risk averse with my trading because I don't like to think about it that much. Because I'm just not in that season of playing RuneScape. If you're a little bit more active, then you can be a little bit less risk averse. You can be more risky with your trades, but they just require more babysitting. So again, we just want to be risk averse. So we're going to be going for high volume trading. Okay, so with high volume trading, you normally have a lot more stable prices, and then the margins are a lot smaller and per unit. So for instance here, the Runite bolts, we're only getting 6 GP, but since we're doing 10 million volume a day, we're going to try to go for a lot of it. We can get 100,000 units of this, and then if we made 100,000 unit sales, which isn't too difficult, not in a day, you could get 66,000 per day. So 66,000 times 6 would be 420,000 or something like that, right? 66,000. Just shy of 400,000. So that's the strategy we're going to go for. So now let me explain my filters here. So we want an ROI of over 5%. So that's just kind of like, we just want a profitable ROI, but we don't want crazy numbers. You know what I mean? Like when you have these items that are high volume with these small margins, you're not going to get crazy ROIs on a lot of items. The crazy items that are low margins but high ROIs are stuff like fire runes and pure essence and stuff like that, and you can go trade that. That's like my my intro to flipping, but this is how we like expand out of that, because those are going to be the most competed for items like fire runes, pure essence, mind runes. All that stuff is going to be heavily competed for, and we're going to be looking for picks that have kind of less of a competitive market. You know, so we're looking for sleepers, and using these 5% ROI is going to be like kind of like the base level of what's worth your time. So then the next filter we're going to work on is the volume for 24 hours. We're going to set that for over 10,000. And that's going to be comboed with volume for 24 hours being sorting descending. So we're starting from the top here. Ascending though, we still want that on the list, but we want to pretty much remove everything that's less than 10,000 volume per hour, because that means you're not going to see a daily or a weekly sale usually on it, not in a high volume. But 10,000 would be a good one. So you can sort by ascending, and you can start from the bottom here, because if you see here, when you have kind of a smaller volume, you do, like these wolf bones here, have a little bit higher of a margin, so it may be a little bit more lucrative for you guys to go for that, because I know like it perks my brain up seeing 226 per volume per unit, and that may be a nice sleeper. And it's not like a dead item, so that you should be able to get it pretty quickly, but you might be able to get it back pretty well. There's other things to look for here. I just want to kind of just briefly go over, but we want to set it descending to really go for it, because I'm risk averse. Like the wolf bones would be a little bit more risk, so I don't like risk, because I don't like to think about it. I want to put a sale in on a Saturday, my Saturday morning, and then I want to ignore it until the next Saturday. And you know, I want to win more than 80% of my trades. So doing it by this high volume usually indicates that we have a higher stability. And then we're going to set our margin with tax over 5, just to give us a nice, really good. When I set these filters, I got a really nice pool of items. I really feel like these are a really nice pool. So now there's a couple more things that we need to look at, and that is going to be trends and buy to sell ratio. Buy to sell ratio, not as much, but the trend is something I figured out. And I talked to O7.GG, the developer, the main developer. We talk often, we talk daily, and I want another feature put in which will help with what I'm about to talk about right here. And that is going to be, we want to look at the trends. So what we want to see in the trends here is we don't want to see spikes. Okay, so when I say spikes, I mean this. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click that. Bear with me here. I don't want to see 7% here loss, and then I do not want to see a 44% increase in the trend, because that indicates to me that we have a spike here. This is not stable. If we go back to 1 week, then as you can see, we're winning this. If I had bought last Sunday at 76 and I was selling this week, I would have made a very, very profitable trade. But that's not what we want to see. What we want to see is a very consistent through line that we can easily predict week to week. But as you can see, month to month, this item is very volatile, because it starts high, drops low, and then it goes high again. So then we may be put into a situation, because this is fine to trade at this, but we might be put into a situation we bought on the high over here. Let's say we bought on May 20th, and we'll still be waiting for our money to come back. And I would have wanted to exit this. I don't want to hold this item for a month plus, because it ties all your money up. What you want is like very consistent weekly trades where you're just profiting more and more and more. You get your dopamine, you keep growing your bank. But in this type of situation, you're going to have a huge volatile swing week to week. So then some weeks you might win, but some weeks you might really lose and have to hold on to that item, or take a loss and go find another item. So what I have found is, if we look for items here that are very stable, like let's say here, 3% and 1% trend over the 7 days. And now if we look at the Mithril Dart tip here, it's on 12 hours, 1 day. That looks pretty consistent. We have a low price over here at 101, and we have a high price over here at 108. So it looks like that we have a pretty decent line, you know, so we can grab this at whatever, we can grab that at probably 103 and then sell it at 109. Or yeah, 103 and then 109 and then make a 4 GP profit. And then the limit's 20,000. So 20,000 times 6 is 120,000 times 4. I'm fine with that. That's $480,000 a day, or 480,000 GP a day. And that's just potentially one slot. You know what I'm saying? So 480,000 for the one slot per day. Take that times 7. That's a lot of money. Just shy of 3.5 million. So you know what I mean? That's pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that expensive to get into. But as you can see, if we go back to that, that's 1 day, 1 week. Looks like it was up a little bit and it dropped a little bit. But as you can see, it kind of recovers over the last month here. It's still, about a month ago, it was still 100. And then a month later, it's still around 100. There was an anomaly here where it spiked up for a little bit, but it then just did come back down to our price point. You know, it fluctuates consistently, so it's a lot more consistent. So essentially the rule of thumb for these items is that we just want to look for tight, consistent percentages. So like the closer to 0 as possible, the better, in my opinion, because it's just the closer it is to zeros, you know, you're not going to have these crazy swings. Like if we look at iron arrow tips here, looks like it's really surging right now. For the last 7 days, it's been surging a lot. So if you were buying that, you know, you probably just lucked into a bunch of money. But the closer it is to 1 or to 0, that means we're just going to have nice, consistent, stable flips week to week, and we just won't have to think about it. So using that kind of methodology here, we can find ourselves some items to try out and then just see what works best for us. But this is just what I've been doing to make picks on items, and it should work for you. It's kind of like foolproof. You can expand out, but this is like the best risk-averse pick hunter using a tool that I've been able to find, and I hope this helps you guys out. And so, you know, check out the links down below if you're interested in scaling to a mass multi-scape farm. Link down below, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Subscribe, help the channel, become a member, stuff like that. Really appreciate it, guys. Happy flipping. Hope it works for you guys.